From Grove Studios in Ypsilanti, I'm John Bommarito. Welcome to another Acoustic Alternatives podcast. Grove Studios, a fine host for, going on 2.5-ish years now. They introduced me to the idea of doing a podcast here, and every time I have a guest in, I show them around and show, check this place out. This is a pretty cool place to practice. In fact, our guest today lives in Ypsilanti, if I'm not correct.
That's right.
And this is a convenient spot that perhaps her band, The Big Beautiful, could practice one day.
I can see it. I can see it now.
Misty Lyn Bergeron. I screwed it up already. Bergeron.
You got it?
I got it right.
Yeah.
I want to get it right, Misty Lyn.
Are you going to try it again?
Sure, why not? Misty Lyn Bergeron is here to talk about her new album, Narrows, and her life experiences. So welcome to the podcast. I know it took us a little bit to get this going, but I'm glad we're here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem. We were trying to do it as a precursor to your show at the Arc, but life got a little busy.
Yeah, it's a busy time leading up to a record celebration.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then there was a birthday celebration at the same time.
And I had a birthday. I'm still here. Yeah.
And then you got sick.
And then I got sick, got hurt.
And you got hurt.
Yeah, it's been a time, but we're good. I'm here.
Well,
I'm
glad you're here. Narrows has been getting some really fantastic reviews, and we're going to talk about the record. We're going to talk about your life. You've got your guitar with you.
I do.
We're going to do a song first, though. I'm not going to do a song.
You're going to play one first. Okay.
Yeah, well, I want people to stick around.
Yeah, all right.
We don't want to bore them with conversation right away.
Let's hope that's what happens.
What song from the album would you like to do?
It's funny that you say from the album, because I'll do the one from the album first, but I'm really feeling like doing a couple new ones while we're here too.
Great.
If you don't mind.
Not at all.
All right. This one is a song that I wrote after, it was like I was in a really bad car accident some years ago, and you'd think something like that would inspire maybe a lot of songs, but it only inspired this one. So it's interesting. Maybe I haven't processed it all yet, but it's about how it's hard to receive love sometimes, when especially when you're in the most vulnerable state. It's called Hard to Hear. Through this crack in my chest, I will fill with joy. I will fill with joy. Through this pain in my neck, I will sing my heart. I will start again. And it might sound strange, but I felt the sign. And believe me when I say I know I don't have much time to get it right. Place, there was empty grace. I came back to face myself again. In a cool, dark place, there was empty grace. I came back to face myself again. It was love. Love, love, it was love, love, love. Ain't it hard to hear the truth sometimes? It was love, love, love. It was love, love, love. Man, it's hard to hear the truth sometimes. Ooh, ooh, ooh. love, 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 it was love, 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 it was love, 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 it was love, love, love. Through this crack in my chest, I will fill with joy, I will fill with joy. Through this pain in my neck, I will sing my heart, I will start again.
The lead track, Narrows, the new release from Misty Lyn and the Big Beautiful. It's called Hard to Hear on Acoustic Alternatives. My guest, Misty Lyn of the Big Beautiful, and here to talk about stuff.
Yay!
Yay, we're finally doing it. Finally doing it. So tell me about where you grew up and a little bit about you as a child.
As a child, I grew up in a small town, mostly. I was born in Garden City over on the east side, but did most of my growing up in Pinckney, small town.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't musical growing up. I was in choir, but was more of an athlete. Yeah, and then I went to MSU and met someone who introduced me to a lot of music I'd never heard before. It was like kind of mostly alt country, like back in the Wilco Whiskey Town days.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd never heard anything like it before, so that's where I kind of fell in love with like this new sound, and I started to wonder if I could maybe I don't know, I something told me that I was going to write songs even though I had never done it before. It was like this weird knowing that I'd go to a concert and see someone on stage and I'd feel like I was on the wrong side.
Yeah.
You know, like it was this weird feeling.
Nice.
So I'm fast forwarding to college because that's when the music started. You know, I've always loved music, and I would get deeply attached to songs and artists, but I didn't get a guitar till I was in my super senior year in college, and that's when I started writing.
It can happen that way, apparently, because it has.
Crazy. It took me a while to get there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're there, and people go see your shows and buy your records, and it worked out okay.
Can't believe it. Yeah.
Well, what if I had met you?
Miracle.
What if I had met you as a 15-year-old girl? What would you have thought you were going to be doing at this age?
Oh man, you know, it's funny that you asked that because I've recently kind of discovered I've never thought about the future. I'm always kind of like when you ask me like what are you going to do in 5 years?
I hate that
just
question.
Never been. Yeah, I just can't. It's like a black void pops up in my head. I'm like, whatever the universe, wherever it puts me, that's what I'm doing. You know, I just kind of feel open in the moment and let life take me where I'm supposed to go. So when I was 15, same thing. I had a tumultuous childhood, and so my focus was kind of like survival and
get out of the house.
Yeah, if they let me. Yeah.
I get you. Okay, so there wasn't like when I grew up, I want to be a X, Y, Z type thing.
No, never.
You were just living day to day, and school was school, and you pretty sure you were going to go to college because everyone did.
Yeah, Well, I was pretty sure, because everybody was telling me that's what you do.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, which looking back, I'm like, what the? Really? Thanks for the debt. No.
Though it does open doors.
But then I wouldn't have met the guy who introduced me to the bands, who inspired me to. So
exactly.
You know, life takes you.
I pre-told you how I got into radio before we got on the air. And it's like, yep, I mean, it's what I wanted to do, but it took me, that was 20 years after I decided I wanted to do it, that whole conversation I told you about.
Yeah.
So you never really know where you're going to go.
I know. You got to stay open, right?
I did.
Yeah.
So life in Pinckney, or, I've been there. My brother-in-law lived there for a while before they moved to Dexter.
It's
so
beautiful there.
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm. Woodsy. I know you're an outdoorsy kind of person.
I am, yeah.
It's a good place
that's
for you.
That's where I fell in love with. That's kind of always been my safe space, the woods. So, yeah, that's stuck with me.
And now Ypsilanti is home?
Ypsilanti's home for a while now, yeah. I think I'm going on 12 or 13 years now in Ypsi.
What brought you here?
Well, initially it was Ann Arbor.
Oh.
After college, I kind of made my way there. It took me a little while. Trying to remember how. Oh gosh, it was a whole escapade. My my best friend Matt Jones, who's also my drummer, way back then, we met at an ARC open mic night. Randomly went to the ARC, and after we became friends. It's so funny. I've not thought about this stuff in a while, so forgive me if I'm like stuttering through it. We met and became friends, and then we moved to Minneapolis together, which was a big part inspiration for my first record. You can hear a little bit of that flowing through it. And when we got back from Minneapolis, that didn't last very long. And when we got back, I kind of just knew I wanted to stay in Ann Arbor and plant some roots there for a minute. And I worked at a very well-known downtown bar for many years called Old Town Tavern. So I did, so I worked there for about 11 years and just kind of sunk into the community and into the music scene there. And at some point, I think I had moved in with a boyfriend halfway to Ann Arbor. And then that didn't work out. And then I made my way to Ypsi mostly because, it got expensive in Ann Arbor.
Yes.
But now I love Ypsi. I wouldn't change it. Yeah.
It's cool. It's where I work now, too. So.
Yeah.
Not just because of the podcast. This isn't work. This is fun, actually.
Yes. Yeah.
So not just music, but photography is a big part of who you are as well. So if someone goes to your website, they can see that clearly you do both.
Yeah.
When did photography become a thing?
That's actually kind of recent. I was working at the bar and just knew that I couldn't do it anymore. I was like picturing myself at 50. Here's a time I did that. I thought about myself at 50 and I'm discovering all these new things about myself
closer
right
than
now.
It was then.
Yeah, right. So much closer. Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to be bartending when I'm 50. So what do I want to do? And I didn't know, and it was terrifying, but I knew I had to quit to find out because I was just so entrenched in that community there, which I loved. So I just quit without knowing what was next. And that was when Instagram was like kind of new and fun. And like I just noticed that I loved editing the photos on my phone, and I kind of fell in love with it. And I was like, well, maybe I'll take some photography classes, at Washtenaw Community College. And I did it, and I just fell in love with it. And it was one of it's kind of like music in that I had a knack for it, and then it kind of blossomed, luckily, quickly for me, So it's been wonderful. That's how that happened.
You've had some pretty good opportunities with your photography. It's not just, there's a lot of people who take photos.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're good enough to do, like, I've seen you at the Leanne Loft recording with Rob Reinhardt, and you've done lots of band photos for artists and backstage at the ARC and whatever. I mean, you're all over the place.
It's really wonderful, yeah.
It takes a little while to establish yourself in any career, but it seemed like that happened pretty quick for you.
Yeah, I think that it had a lot to do with the fact that I'm a musician and had some connections just because I'm a musician. And also because I am a musician, it makes me really good at that kind of photography because I just understand the world and I understand what's interesting and what's not. And so at least I hope that comes through in my photos. So, yeah. I don't know. Was that it? Was that the answer to that question?
I think that's the answer.
Yeah.
We may circle back around to photography later.
Cool.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So at some point you start making music, you start writing your own music. Did you form a band because you needed a band to play your songs, or did you always envision yourself fronting a band?
I have always wanted a band. I've always, even from the time I wrote my first song, I heard a band playing. That's how I write. So that's why I like playing solo now. I feel a little bit like I want to do this disclaimer, like this is written for a 6-piece band, like we fill there's a lot of cool stuff happening and a lot of talented people involved. But I don't do that because I also think the songs, when they're stripped bare, they hold something different and kind of cool too.
That's how you wrote it.
Yeah. So it's, Tom Petty was my first like deep music love. And it was like my dream to have like a Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers connection to my band. Like I've always wanted a band forever. Same people. Yeah. I didn't want to just play with people. I wanted a band, And that's been one thing that actually has happened for me. I've been playing with the same people for 15 years.
Might be an excellent time to name them.
Yes, I would love to.
We should recognize these excellent people.
Yeah, as I said.
Besides Matt Jones.
Yeah, Matt Jones on the drums. Actually, when I first started playing, he was my first bandmate. He played guitar with me initially, but then as the band grew, he played bass for a little while, and now he's the drummer. He's been the drummer for a very long time. We have Carol Gray. She plays fiddle and does percussion and sings beautiful backup vocals. And then Jim Roll was the bass player for over a decade, and he just recently decided to move on to other things. So my new bass player, who is absolutely a joy, is Timothy Monger. He's also a songwriter, wonderful songwriter with a record coming out in June. Timothy Monger State Park is the name of his band.
He was in another band before that.
Yeah, a legendary Michigan band called Great Lakes Myth Society. Miss them very much. And then we've got, who else is in my band? We've got Mary Fraser, is also kind of a new add-on to the band. She joined in 2019, just before the pandemic. I think we got through the summer with her that year, and it was wonderful. She plays keys, she sings. And just like when she joined the band, it felt complete. Like she was the missing piece. You know, I didn't know I had a missing piece, but then she joined, and I just love having her in the band so much. Am I forgetting anyone? I think, oh, God, he's going to kill me. Ryan Gimpert is my guitar player. Electric guitar, sometimes pedal steel, very rare these days, but in the early days we did that a lot. Phenomenal guitar player, also in Will Sessions, very well-known band from Detroit, and also a wonderful DJ and a reggae aficionado.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Pretty well-rounded band. So I've got the first album with the artwork, so we'll show that to the cameras. This is what the first album looks like. You've seen it before.
Yeah.
This one I have with me.
That one, actually, the artwork has a cool story.
Tell me the story.
Yeah, that one, way back then, there's a man named Jack Spack. Do you know Jack by any chance?
No, I don't.
He lives in Dexter, also a musician. I haven't seen him play in many years now, but back then he was part of the music scene, and he would have these art nights on his farm, and people would just go make art. And one night, there was a night dedicated to my record, and the theme was yellow flowers, because there's something in a book, 100 Years of Solitude, where it rains yellow flowers. And so if you open up the panels, wow, that should be worth something. I'll have to get you one. This isn't it. This is what we printed
like
quickly to go on tour. This is before.
I think it's on a CDR, actually, possibly.
Yes, we did that ourselves because the CDs didn't come in time for us when we were leaving for tour.
Well,
so
there you go.
We made these to sell on the road. That's so funny. Wow.
That's what you sent me at the radio station.
Look at
with this little handwritten love note. It's not really a love note.
I was so on it back then. I sent things.
You did. I have a note for you. Look at that.
John, get out of here.
Well, this is my podcast.
This is bringing back so many memories. Oh my God, that's great. But yeah, so in the I would say real one, this is like pre-printing. You open it up and there's many panels, and each panel is like a piece of art somebody made that was the theme of yellow flowers, and it's like just scanned, and so it's really personal and cool, close to my heart.
Nice.
Yeah.
Then the band name, how did that come about?
The band name, I don't even know, honestly. I just remember in the beginning we had a cellist. Her name was Colette Alexander, amazing cellist. Like she plays all over the world. She plays with like Josh Groban and etc. people. Ryan Adams. Somehow she played in my band in the beginning. She's on the first record, but she named it, I think. I think we were just like sitting around. She's like, "What about the Big Beautiful?" And we just all liked how it sounded, you know.
My memory bank remembers it sometimes being printed or listed as not the Big Beautiful, just Big Beautiful. Like the was missing. Like, that seems weird. Seems like there should be a the there.
There's a the.
Yeah, no, there's a the, but I always felt like I saw it without the the. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
Misty Lyn and Big Beautiful.
No,
Huh?
shame on them.
People messed up. Well, this was 2009, so then another record came out called False Honey in late 2012.
False Honey.
And then a bit of a gap. The one was recorded, I understand, that's coming out later this year, Alms for Sots. We'll talk about that.
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit later.
The rough mixes are coming out for the Kickstarter supporters. But yeah, so in 2014, so a couple years after False Honey, we started Alms for Sots. And I think, was it 2014? Something like that, 2014, 2015. And we were almost done recording it, or we had made good headway. I wouldn't say it was almost done, but my life just kind of fell apart. And I was also doing a podcast back then, and everything stopped. I separated from a long-term relationship and then had to move. I was in Oak Park for a minute in Michigan and had to move back to Ypsi, and was dealing with a lot of mental health stuff, and I just couldn't do anything. And so that record was put on pause. Then I got in this car accident, which
it's in my notes.
that'll stop you for a little while too.
Yeah.
It was a rough few years. So after the accident, after I'd recovered a couple of years later, I just wanted to start something new, and I just left Alms for Sets, and I had a bunch of new stuff I wanted to work on. So we did Narrows. And then Narrows, we were in the middle of recording it, and then the pandemic happened, and years go by.
They did. We're 3 years past the start time
Isn't
at this
that crazy?
point.
Yeah. I'm still trying to catch up.
I know.
Yep.
Me too. Well, 10 new songs released at the beginning of this year, positive reviews all over the place, and lots of publications and
Feeling
online.
blessed, yeah.
Like, wow, I felt like how come I haven't heard it
Yeah.
yet? Everyone else is talking about how great this record is. I got to hear the record.
Yeah.
So I reached out and said, hey.
Apparently I forgot how to send them. I knew to do that with the first one.
I'm not on a radio station anymore, so that's probably why you didn't think to, but you reached out to the right guy at that station. He got you on. And, you got to do what you got to do. Why did you record this one in Kalamazoo instead of locally? What was that decision?
The first two I recorded with Jim Roll, who was also my bass player. I just wanted to not have someone in the band also be engineering the record. I wanted new ears on it. Okay. And I loved in particular, Ian Gorman is the man's name who runs La Luna. And he did this record with Seth Bernard, another Michigan artist, called, oh God, am I going to remember the name of it? I'm really bummed right now. I can't remember the name of the record, but he had done this beautiful record with Ian. And I love the production on it. And I could just tell there was love in it, And I was like, I'm just going to go try it with this guy. I know that he does good work. So Ian was absolutely amazing. Like, I honestly wouldn't want to work with anyone else. I loved it that much. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the themes on this album seem to jump between relationships, religion, and that sort of both of those things are kind of intertwined in this record.
I would counter spirituality.
Spirituality, yeah, that's true. Yeah. I guess it wasn't specifically a religion. It was, you're right. Mitra Times was very good to point out that light appears a lot on the record.
Yeah.
Is that because of the accident? Or just because of revelations? Or not conscious? Yeah,
I guess definitely the accident had some part in me changing. Like so many aspects of it were humbling. And the song I played is about, the receiving of love and how it's hard to deal with that sometimes, all of that reshaped me. And, a lot of my old cynicism and, I would say kind of immature ways of viewing the world fell away. And, so more naturally, this side of me came out. I'm not saying I definitely still have some dark songs in me, but for some reason, this span of songs that we chose for the record, I don't know. It wasn't intentional, it just so happened. And I don't even know if I noticed that until Jeff Milo, the man who wrote that article, brought it up, that there's a lot of light on it. I was like, oh, that's kind of nice. Unintentional and grateful that I have that perspective to pull from now. Whereas before it was kind of sloshing around in the darkness and trying to process things that have happened to me that were not good. But somehow now I have access to this joy and gratitude. Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Was spirituality something that you would have described yourself at prior to the accident, or is that inspired?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's not really a new theme for you then?
No, it's always been in there. Yeah, I just feel I feel like I enjoy the mystery, you know, and I find strength in my knowledge for myself that there's something bigger than myself. I don't need to name it.
No.
But yeah.
We get small when we walk into God's house, though.
That's right.
So
People
says the song.
get tripped up on that word, man. But, it doesn't mean, it's not heavy to me. It's not heavy.
Very good. Let's take a break from the chat and have you do another song.
Okay.
Tell me what it is and what's it about.
This one is a newer one that I've been playing. Sorry, got a little frog there. In our live shows, I do this with Mary and Carol. I wrote this. I think I wrote it right before the pandemic, maybe. It's called "Grief is a Chorus," and it's just about how I just felt, there's so much grief in the world that people refuse to process. They numb themselves and they shut it down, either because they're scared to feel it or they don't have time to feel it. Like, this culture doesn't really let you process your grief properly. When we have to just go, and we're like actually destroyed inside, So this song's kind of about that. It's about grief and how it can come out sideways. If you don't, it'll sneak up on you if you don't let yourself process. Yeah. And how grief is just this undercurrent to our lives, and it just means that we loved.
Comes with a free frog.
And it comes with the frog in my throat. Let me try to remember how it starts. I had to go to work the day the towers hit the ground. Put on a smiling face for the people in this town. Some days there's just no time to take on a heavy load. But what I'm learning is it catches you down the road. It'll open your heart up like a flower in the sun. It'll burn all the pages in your stories one by one. It'll tumble like a prayer onward to the edge of time. Any grief ungrieved is just a sleeping landmine. Didn't shed a tear the day my daddy passed away. So many people searching in my eyes. The truth is I cried all of those tears when I was young, and I cannot apologize. Thinking of the key confirms the prison, so they say. All these backward devils got me thinking I'm running late. But when I take a deep breath and I spend a little time, I can feel this spiral in my stomach unwind. I guess you feel what you feel when your heart is ready to heal. I said I guess I feel what I feel when my heart is ready. There's a new silence in my body these days. all the electricity, it came out sideways. Now I'm sitting in the emptiness, singing old songs, grateful to relieve some of this pressure in my lungs. Grief is a chorus, it's been singing all along. Grief is a chorus, it's been singing all along. Grief is a chorus, it's been singing all along. Grief is a chorus, it's been singing all along. Love, 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 love.
Beautiful and heavy at the same time.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of both in there. Like you say, the darkness and the light.
Yeah.
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 I like
It's
it.
like life.
Grief is a chorus.
Yes.
That is the name of the song.
Mm-hmm.
How new is that?
Well, it's not recorded on anything yet. Like I said, we've been playing it. We do it live sometimes in quieter settings. But yeah, maybe a couple years old.
Okay.
It feels new to me still.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
The
not
focus on narrows. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it. Before it's released to the general public, though, you've been playing it live, so
Yeah.
there's that. So I know because you've released physical media, I'm guessing the answer to this question is yes, but is sequencing important to you of your album in the digital age? Because it is the digital age. I still prefer the physical compact or I guess vinyl, but
It's funny you should ask that. I love I value it. But there's a funny story with Narrows, actually, with the sequencing of the songs. I just kept hitting walls with putting it out. And that's why it took so long to get out. Many reasons, many excuses, blah, blah, blah. And one of the things that kept tripping me up was the sequence, you know. And one night, I was so sick of it. I was so sick of listening to it. I was sick of thinking about it. And I was like, I'm just going to number them, put all the numbers in a jar, pull them out, and that's the order. And that's the order they're in. I would have changed it if I thought it didn't work, but it happens to be perfect in my mind. Like, I couldn't believe how perfect it was.
it works.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I highly recommend just a jar and
Jar.
some numbers.
1 to 10.
Yep.
There you go.
That's it.
I mean, I guess I kind of asked because I wonder how artists like yourself think about okay, I mean, you've sent previously to a radio station your other records, whether you did that to this one. I don't know if you sent it to any local stations. But, like, do you think about
Hanging on by a thread.
what are they going to hear first? Like, sometimes they only hear the first couple songs and they go, and they move on. Because they've only got so much time. So, for me, before I tell you what my favorite song on the record is, what is your favorite song on the record?
It's a sleeper. Daniel's my favorite song on the
nice
record. One. Yeah, for many reasons. But the favorite I'm finding for others is Keep on the Light.
I like that one too.
Yeah.
Mine's smaller.
Oh, wonderful.
I think it
You're
belongs,
the first one who said that.
I think
That's
that belongs higher up in the track listing, which is kind of why I'm bringing up the track listing. I feel like that needs to be heard before I get to the end of the record because it makes me feel good. There's something about that song.
Yeah, that one's got a little bounce to it, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
If I were doing a radio show, that's the song I would have picked to play on the radio,
Oh.
initially, right off the bat.
Nice.
First listen through.
I get that.
That's
I get
the radio
that.
hit.
Yeah. That does seem like a radio song.
I don't know if I
Yeah.
can listen to music anymore without thinking of that.
I'm sure.
I've been doing it so long, it's just how I think.
It
but
makes sense.
I still enjoy music just to listen to it, not to think about that part of it. But,
Yeah.
I always put a little, like, I might rate it as a number, like, this is the best song. This is a pretty good song. This is a song I wouldn't play, whatever.
Yeah.
But just...
I would never have thought of it in like I wouldn't have ever, when sequencing a record, I would never think, what is somebody who might play it gonna think of the first couple songs? Like, that would never enter my head.
Okay. Just curious.
I'm not good at thinking about that I'm kind of a brat about not, I just do what I want.
It's your
you know what I mean?
It's your
yeah,
record.
I'm
It's
kind
not
of a brat about it.
It's not the world. It's
I'm
your
always
record.
like, I don't care what you think, So, yeah.
As I'm listening to the record as well, I hear the song You Wouldn't Know Me. And I don't know that you would know this artist, but your vocal tone on that one reminds me a lot of an Irish singer-songwriter by the name of Eleanor McAvoy, who I really enjoy.
No,
Very
I don't think I know.
underground over on this side of the world. Released I think her first 2 albums came out over here, and then everything else has been more or less like an import to come over. And she's continued to make records. But when I heard you sing them, like, that sounds like Eleanor. She would not know Eleanor McAvoy.
No, I don't. That's great, though.
But it called me, just brought that tone to mind.
Yeah.
So back to, because we're talking about the records that have come out since the first 2, Alms for Sots has been recorded but not finished technically. Like, you've got the demos.
Definitely not finished.
You're giving that
rough
to the
tracks.
Yeah, you're giving that to your Kickstarter donors. But
Yeah.
if I go to your SoundCloud page, it says it's coming soon. So does that mean it's
Yes.
getting...
Well, I left myself that opening. I feel like I might just put it up on Bandcamp and not have it streaming anywhere else, like on Spotify and such. Just as like, because I feel like hardcore, like if you really want to hear Misty Lyn and the Big Beautiful, you know about Bandcamp probably.
Yeah.
And that way there's not rough tracks floating out in the,
Yeah.
I'm a little picky about that. Even though, honestly, I've really loved listening to this. My good friend, Greg McIntosh, who actually was also in the Great Lakes Myth Society, is mastering the rough tracks so that they sound good online. And I've enjoyed listening to this record. It was nice to revisit it. And we do play some of those songs live. But yeah, it was from a real well-defined era in my life, and I can feel it when I listen to it.
So you don't want to finish it?
I don't know. Gosh, man, I'm having trouble getting to 2023. Like, am I going to go back to 2014 and finish? I don't know. I'd love to. If I had all the time and money in the world, I would do it for like in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But do I want to put those resources into something that's
If you're not going to promote
there?
it, I guess
don't
not.
know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we could do like a more low key finishing of it, like in a basement or something. That might be fun.
There you go.
Yeah.
About songwriting, are you one that struggles with it? Do you have a lot of ideas that float around? Does it take you a long time to write a song? They just come when they come?
It's a little different now than it used to be. They come when they come. I have to actively be playing a lot, just like fiddling around, which I don't do a whole lot of. It comes in spurts. It's like I call it songwriting phases, They usually come in batches. But I kind of just let it do what it's going to do. I don't have an idea. I don't sit down and want to write a song about something. Like, I don't know sometimes I don't know what the song's about till it's done. It's very much like a sort of a channeling process for me. Just let things flow out of my body and mouth. So I can only do it when I'm alone because I do weird stuff, repeat things a lot. And yeah, it's a really nice, I feel like it's kind of like a dance with the mystery, and I love the mystery. So yeah.
Well, lyrics tend to be personal things, but melodies, I mean, they have to come from somewhere. Do you ever find yourself going, is that somebody else's melody when you're writing a song? Or do you
I've had that happen before, but not a whole lot. Yeah. No, I feel like, I mean, it might sound weird to say, but I feel like I'm so not interested in sounding like anybody else. And I know that some people try to sound like they really love artists and they try to emulate a little bit. I've just never had that. Like, I've always just let what's coming come. And I think obviously I'm influenced by what maybe I'm listening to at the time or something, but not directly, not consciously. Yeah. So no, yeah.
What do you listen to? We mentioned a couple of bands that influenced your decision to pick this genre, I suppose. But what is your go-to?
That's
another
it
lifetime.
It changes a lot. I listen to a lot of different stuff. At the moment, it's so funny. It's kind of out of character, but I've been listening to a guy called Trevor Hall a lot. Just love him. Yeah, not anymore. He's kind of like more. He has a lot of Eastern mysticism in his lyrics, and I kind of relate to that a lot. I lean toward the Eastern religions if I'm leaning anyway in religious areas. So yeah, he just really kind of saved me in a rough spot. Like, something about his authenticity. I think he just is who he is. Even I could see my former self kind of not liking him because he was cheesy or something, but I'm just like all open now. If it hits me, it hits me. I've seen him live and it was wonderful. But he wouldn't be like an influence on my writing because it's so different.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anybody recently that I'm
Even if you're not influenced, just what are you enjoying?
Yeah.
What is your like?
I know. Don't you find that when people ask you
I've
that,
got
your
so
mind
much.
goes blank?
Yeah, absolutely. 'Cause
Immediately. Why does
I've
that
got
happen?
piles of records to listen to right now. I'm
Oh
actually
my
just like
gosh.
listening to records of people I'm about to interview. So
Yeah.
spending a lot of time with your records. I've got Sam Robbins I think he's from New Hampshire. Actually, I haven't looked it up yet, but he's my next
That
guest.
name sounds very familiar. Interesting.
Played Trinity House. He's got a couple gigs coming up next month.
Okay.
And then I've got a duo who I can't actually remember the name of what they call themselves, but it's Sean McConnell and Garrison Starr, she's got a ton of records of her own, and he's got a pretty good handful too. So I'm like trying to immerse myself in their music so that when they get here,
Yeah.
But I have like other things I
What
want to listen to.
wonderful research to do. That's
Yes,
great.
well, that's what I'm doing.
yeah,
I'm
you
like,
just soak in it.
I want to. I
Yeah.
want to be able to talk about it intelligently. But
Yeah.
your whether your tastes influence what you're going to play too. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to know where your music comes from when I don't know what you listen to, and if it's just coming from within.
Gosh. Well, my first love is Neil Young, Forever and Ever. Tom Petty, obviously. These are like old influences, though. Like they've been in me for a while. So if I'm thinking of newer, what do I listen to every day, John?
Podcasts? I don't know.
I love just hitting, like I'll go on Spotify, which I actually hate in my body that I use, but I do. But I like to let it play the radio. Like I'll pick a song I like and I'll make like that song radio.
Yeah.
And then I like to hear new stuff.
Yeah,
So
me too.
sometimes I never know the name of the song I just heard that I liked, you know. I'm really bad like that. I should pay more attention. But there's a guy named Sam. I almost want to pick my phone up and look. Vile? There's like Cass McCombs.
I've heard of him. Yeah.
Really like him. But even that isn't what I'm listening to right now. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to look at my Spotify right now because it's driving me crazy that I don't know what I'm listening to. Oh my gosh. Right. I'm into instrumental stuff. That's why I can't think of it right now. There's a group called, these guys are great. Let's see if I can get the name right. Hermanos Gutierrez.
Brothers Guitar Brothers.
So I don't think that actually means guitar. I don't know if I'm saying it right. It's Gutierrez.
I'm not sure.
And that, I love their stuff.
Cool.
It's amazing. It is two brothers. Yeah, it's so funny. This picking up my Spotify is dumb because it's been taken over by what I call my spirit music that I play when I go to bed. So it's all like Tibetan singing bowls, and I'm like, that's not it. That's not what I'm listening to. Sam Evian? Maybe his name's Sam Evian. Does that sound familiar?
Does not. That doesn't mean he's a real person. He's probably a real person. I just don't know him. I can't know
love
everything.
local music, like Timothy Monger, Mary Fraser, who's in my band, her band's called Child Sleep. Love local stuff. I've always kind of really felt more attached to like local stuff, like Great Lakes, Mississippi. My favorite band in the world is the High Strung from Detroit. So always have that in my back pocket too.
I think that is actually on page 2.
Oh,
Is there a page 2? I swear I rented 2 pages. I did. I just forgot to unhide one.
nice.
While I unveil page 2, which is going to fall over because I don't have it behind the glass. I was going to ask about bands that you would like to work with, maybe sing with, and I have a feeling that they would be one of them.
I have worked with them. I've photographed them. I've been on stage with them singing their songs.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Are there other bands that you'd like to do that with?
Oh, God. To be totally honest, performing does not come easily to me. And I'm not a musician's musician. I'm a songwriter. And I can't just jump in and be in your band. I'm a I write my own songs, and I have a band because God bless them,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would love to be able to do that. I'm not sure what I could sing. I sing in Matt Jones's band. How'd I forget that? Matt Jones and the Reconstruction.
Yeah,
I do sing in his
That's
band.
in the notes.
Yeah. So
Member of.
yes, I would love to be in many bands, but I have never developed I don't jam. I'm just not that kind of musician.
That's not who you are.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we talked about music. We talked about photography a little bit. we before we started recording, talked about a podcast. Tell me a little bit about the 52 portraits and the potential revival, it sounds like. Maybe you'll get to finish.
Oh, I would love to. That is like my favorite thing I've ever done. And that includes music, photography, everything. It was so profound to me. I decided I wanted to work on my portraiture, and I was like, I'm going to do a project. The year before this, I had done a 365 project where you take photos every day. And it taught me so much to commit to it like that. I learned so much. And I was like, well, I want to get better at portraits. Let's do a portrait project. And then I was like, I crave conversations with people. And
especially after the last 3 years.
Yeah. This is before that. But yeah, and I really wanted to focus on women, just leaning into like women's stories and the voices of inspiring women. So I put this thing up on Facebook that said, I wanted people to suggest people to interview. And it was such an overwhelming, wonderful response. Many, many suggestions. And then the person who suggested, if I picked the person, the person who suggested the inspiring woman would write down why. And I would read that to the woman at the beginning of each podcast, So yeah, I just got to meet so many wonderful people. And I think I got halfway. I think there's 25 that are done. But it was such a massive project because I didn't realize what I was getting into. It was like I took the photos. I would go to their house, take the photos, be prepared to do a podcast, record the podcast, edit the podcast, and then edit all the photos, put them all online. It was just a huge job.
Yeah.
To think you can do that once a week is really funny. So, yeah. I didn't finish it. Again, that was at the same time that I stopped Alms for Sots when my life just kind of went for a little while. But yeah, I would love to. It's been on my mind. I don't know if I would call it that still, but I'm very interested in lifting up women's voices. But I also want to talk to whoever I want to talk to. So we'll see what happens.
Well, they're still available to hear for now. I read something last week that you're going to renew it for a year, and then you don't know what's going to happen after that. Yeah.
Well, it was gonna expire, and I felt at peace with it. I was like, it's been out for a while, and it's fine. And then I just posted, if you want to listen, you got 2 more days. And then some wonderful anonymous person wanted to fund the SoundCloud. It's on SoundCloud right now for another year. They just asked, how much does it cost? I want it to stay up. And I was like, well, God bless. That's wonderful.
You can take the audio, unload the audio only up to YouTube, and just put like a static picture with it too.
That's good to know.
Another way to just save it.
I don't know that.
Well, it's, little tips from me.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you.
I learned things from you. I had time to listen to a couple of them. I don't get a lot of time to listen to talking because I'm always listening to music.
Yeah.
But sadly, I learned about your anxiety by listening to, I think, the one with May, and that you want your art to be healing, which I think was very, very nice.
That's the ultimate hope. Yeah.
How much does the anxiety get in the way of wanting to be a performer more? Do you want to be a performer? Like, that's not really your day job, right? That's not what you do
Well, kind of. That and photography together last year paid the bills.
Good.
Thank God. But I just want, it's almost like because I started so late, I've never really I've never allowed myself to picture myself as a full-time musician, or I don't know, it was kind of felt behind my entire musical life. And I just lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that? What was the question, John?
Whether anxiety getting in the way.
Yeah. That.
Did I just cause it by asking that question?
Oh,
I'm sorry.
God.
That wasn't my intention.
No. I'm just, this happens. I'm older now.
I'm older than you.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Can't be that much older. Nice. Congratulations. That's a good age.
Only the video people got to see that number. People listening to the audio
Better
don't
check that out.
Don't know how many fingers I put up.
That's right. When it comes to performing, it's always been a challenge, like major challenge, the anxiety. But these days, less so. I have found I've had some reprieve from anxiety for a while now, for maybe a year, and it's so wonderful. There are other things to deal with other than anxiety, but so it's actually helped me enjoy my performance more. Like there's a new surrender that that I'm capable of before performing. That is really nice to be able to tap into, and then I can be in the moment and enjoy what I'm doing.
As a photographer, who's your go-to photographer when you need pictures of you or your band? Do you have a
Doug
go-to?
Coombe is the legendary.
Doug Coombe, yes.
That man, if he didn't exist, there would be no photos of my life, because he hasn't just taken photos of me and my band. He's taken photos of me in a crowd at one of my favorite shows, or like me and my friends at these, like, I think of going to shows as like going to church if it's one of my favorite bands. And I love having memories of that stuff. You know, I wouldn't have them because I'm like there screaming my head off or like sweating, and and Doug's always there, man. Doug Coombe.
I got a picture that you've taken that I use in my playlist for my, I think maybe you don't, but I do a YouTube video playlist every week that kind of emulates what my radio show would have been if it continued. But while the videos are playing of me talking, I have just like pictures of me, and one of them is the one you took backstage at the Arc when I was talking to May.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
I used that. So that's a beautiful black and white shot that you shared with me at one point.
Isn't it nice to have it? Yeah, that's what I love.
I don't have a lot of pictures of myself that I like, but you took one of them.
Oh, thank you.
Ben Weatherston took one
I'm
of them.
I'm honored. Yeah. Ben Weatherston, love that guy.
Where is he? Because he was awesome.
know, actually. Because I was like, because I love his photography.
That's so good.
And I just reached out because I just hadn't heard his name in a while, and he was like, he just stopped. He doesn't shoot anymore.
I don't know why he's so good.
Something else came along.
He didn't get paid for it well enough.
Photography's hard, man. I mean, just it costs a lot to be a photographer. That's it.
Do you have a favorite place you like to shoot pictures when you're doing like band photos for people or wherever they want?
Promo photos are. I usually try to work. I don't have a favorite spot for that. I love asking. My favorite part of photography is working with people that are creative, and it's the best photo shoots are good because you both had input into what it was going to be. If you have a client that wants you to come up with everything, it's just not going to be as good because input from your life is what makes your authenticity and your personality come through in the photo, So, yeah, usually it's the best ones are when a band has a little bit of an idea of what they're going for, a mood, a place. That's my favorite, when there's a collaboration happening.
Do you spend much time scouting? Like if somebody said, I want photos in a
scout, cemetery
or something.
I scout, yeah. That's a fun part of the job sometimes, depending on what I'm just going to leave that alone. It's always fun. It's always fun, and I love it.
Get into trouble, too, I have a feeling.
Let's not get in trouble.
Okay. You've also, on your bio on your website, mentioned a few of the, national touring acts that you've toured with. What's been some of your favorite memories of doing those kind of opening slots?
I never toured with anyone. I just had, like, strange little one-offs. And honestly, my favorite one, I think probably because of the circumstances, was when Marshall Crenshaw came to Ypsi and played this little songwriter, something which I should know more about because I live in Ypsi, but I don't know about it. There's like some songwriter thing they do, or they used to do in the before times.
At the library, right?
Yeah, but this was like in the basement of, it was Bonacera then. It's Bobcat Bonnie's now. Mm-hmm. And I got this slot, and it was my first show after the accident. And so I was like still hurt, and I like hobbled down these stairs, and I did a solo acoustic set, which is rare for me. It was back then especially. And it was just like a silent crowd, and it was like maybe the most at peace I've ever been on stage. And just because, you almost die.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to scare you in that moment, and when you're in the ripples from that happening. It was just really beautiful. I loved being back in Ypsi, and wonderful crowd, and it was just profound to me, even though it was only like, 6 songs or something.
Nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of songs, did you want to play another new one, you said?
Oh.
You have a guitar.
Yeah.
What song do you want to do? Whatever you feel like.
Well, now that you said you like smaller, I was like, well, I could
Do
maybe
it.
play smaller.
Do it.
Yeah, let's try it.
Feel taller.
I haven't played this one in beat, so
That's a solo.
I hate when people do that though. Like, who cares if I mess it up?
Seriously. Oh no. I can't reach. There we
Ooh,
go.
that's really loose now.
Now
Do I
it
turn
is.
this?
There's a little lock there. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay.
Putting you to work.
It's the least I can do. Oh, see how it wants to do that though?
It's drifting. It's this
What-
one up here.
Oh,
The gold one at the top.
that's what I thought. I was trying to do that. It won't. It's already as tight as. Oh,
All right, we got it. Sit down.
no, so I just won't. I'll try not to ram it with my rock song.
Turn up the amps. Tell me about what inspired the song as you're prepping there.
This actually, I wrote this for my. I had my ex in mind when we were still together. He's a wonderful person. We're still friends. We share a dog, but he had a PhD and was like, couldn't find a job, man. It was crazy. He was like applying and applying and applying, overqualified. And he was thinking about med school, and it's funny that a PhD is not enough. And I was just like kind of sending him love when I was writing this, picturing him finding the place that he's supposed to be, you know. And just like, you know, it wasn't just that. Like sometimes I'll start with a little spark like that, and then like other pictures come in when I'm writing it, and just like, you know, picturing people. And like I have a very specific scene in my mind when I play this one for some reason, this section of river that I walk by all the time. And yeah, so it's multiple influences, but like the soul of it is just wishing a friend well in finding their path. It's called Smaller. It was supposed to be called When the World Gets Smaller, and I got lazy when we were doing the like artwork, and it just had that was the name of the like working title. Just left it. So now you know. Smaller. I love it when the world gets smaller. I love it when the trees get taller. I love it when the river bends. I love you, friend. I love it when we're out past midnight. I love the first snow and starlight. I love it when the broken mends. I love you, friend. Ooh, 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 ooh. I love your face in the morning. I love a kiss without warning. I love the love light you send. I love you, friend. I love the thought of a sunrise. I love a good-natured surprise. I love the garden we tend. I love you, friend. Ooh, 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 ooh. listen. I love you, friend. Ooh, 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 ooh,
It's a perfect little ditty like that, you know, works very well.
Yeah, that's a little shorter than that on the record. There's some beautiful harmonies, and there's an outro that's really nice. And I believe that might be the only song there's a Rickenbacker on, which I love. There's like a ring, that beautiful ringy tone that Rickenbackers have. Yeah.
Thank you for doing that for me.
Yeah, you're
And
welcome. I'm glad you like it.
It reminds us that we need to tell our friends we love them too.
Hell yeah.
Because
Right?
we don't
Especially
know,
these days.
we don't know when we're going to get in an accident or have COVID.
You don't know.
So
Yeah.
thank you for, that's what it does for me, is it reminds me that, you know, the people that are important to me, I should tell them.
Oh,
So
that means a lot to hear. Thank you for telling me.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for spending time with me today. What's next? What are you doing? What's the next adventure for the...
You know, that's a good question. I've been very picky about booking, only doing things that really resonate. I have this, like, I really just want to allow new things to come in. I have wonderful things that I play every year, and I'm kind of letting some of them go and seeing what comes to fill the space, you know. But we have a really fun August booked with many exciting shows, so that's cool. But before then, I'm just kind of seeing what comes. Like, it's funny when I don't actively book, it's kind of fun to see what ends up in the email. Like something cool popped up yesterday, you know, which didn't work out, but we're still working on a date. So maybe and it would be in the next few months. So just, who knows? I don't know. I don't have anything to plug, I don't think. I'm so bad at this. I'm so bad.
There's a new record, and it's available where?
Yeah, man. It's available everywhere. Everywhere you stream. You can get it on Bandcamp is the best for artists. It's mistylyn.bandcamp.com.
Especially on Bandcamp Fridays.
Yes, especially on Bandcamp Fridays, which is not every Friday, but
No.
there's special Fridays. Yeah, thanks for saying that. That's when the artist gets all of the proceeds, but I want you to have it no matter what. So you can stream it on Spotify or Apple, all the places. Yeah.
Well, again, thank you for spending time with me.
Thanks, John. It's been such a pleasure.
Grove Studios in Ypsilanti, the home of the podcast, and it's a spot that you can find if you're in a band that, there's a place to practice here, and you don't have to know your neighbors.
This place is awesome, you guys. I just want to say that in a definitive way. It's really cool in here.
She has seen it.
Yes.
24/7 operation, keypad available for your convenience. If you want to be here at 2 a.m, that's up to you. If you want to be here at 2 p.m, that's also up to you. Nice people run it. They've been very kind to me, and so has Misty Lyn. Thank you for playing songs again, and I wish you well with this record.
Thank you.
More podcasts coming soon, and hopefully they're all, making you happy.